Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Legend of Zelda Master Quest, the last of the collection videos. Today we are going to be doing some fishing, with me, your host, Midnight Sun. Now then, this here is the pond owner. He's a very nice man, but we don't need his instructions. We already know everything about this. It's actually very simple to fish. However, the only fish that he has ever caught is 6 pounds. A very small fish. Pitiful for a man who spends all of his time here in the lake. Let's nullify his very reason for living, that pride in that fish, in a matter of minutes, shall we? Now the controls are rather easy. You can lock on to some of the larger fish by pressing the L key or Z targeting, depending on which system you're playing this on. Once the target is set, or if you just decide not to target at all, you press B, and it will send out the lure. Now, while it is in the air, or once it is in the water, you can use A to reel in. If you do so while it is in the air, it will shorten the distance that the lure will go. However, once you do it in the water, it will simply serve to bring it back in at a rather normal pace. Also, you must hold down A, except for a couple of small exceptions. You must hold down A in order to reel a fish in. You can also press B and use the control stick while not reeling to make the lure bob around a bit in the water and make it seem appealing to the fish that we must try and catch. Now then, once you've actually got a fish on your line, you're going to want to hold down the A button, as I said, and if it's a weaker fish, go ahead and point the control stick left or right in the direction that it is trying to pull. It's so weak that it will actually end up pulling it towards you. Itself towards you, I should say. However, if it's a stronger one, you are going to want to resist where it is pulling, because it will pull away, because after all, it's a strong one. Now then, let's see what happens with this fish here. Now, I kind of faltered in holding on the A button, but that's alright. After all, it's very small. Only 2 pounds. Laughable. Absolutely laughable. The very fact that it exists causes me some... what? Joy? No. Sadness, really. That such purposeless things exist in this time period. Though perhaps in the future, it will be something bigger. And as you'll see, we will have to come here in the future. Now then, this fish is considering... well, should I bite it? Maybe I... oh, and it did. Look at that. It's a strong one, isn't it? Not really. None of them in the past are that strong. Come on now. Don't resist. There you go. 4 pounds. A bit better than the last 2 that we caught, but still not where we want to be. We want to catch something impressive, significantly above what the pond owner was able to catch. Now this one looks promising. Come on, little buddy. Come on. There you go. Now this one here is stronger, as we can see. It's pulling down, left and right. Ah, now you see I made a mistake there. One of the exceptions that you want to take is when a fish jumps into the air, you want to let go of both the control stick and the A button temporarily, because actually the fish is more likely to get away if you keep trying reeling it in while it's in the air. Not while it's floundering about, floundering on the top of the water, just when it's hopping into the air like some kind of flying fish. My, this is a large one. A real lunker. 10 pounds. Well, we will have to keep this one, won't we? Now, once you've caught a fish that you believe is appropriately impressive, what you do is you go over to the shopkeeper here. Well, the pond owner, I should say, and you just talk to him. And then you ask, where is it? What do you want to do? Weigh my fish. The other 2 options have their purpose as well. I want to quit really being just so you can leave. A new record, yes, 10 pounds, seriously. Yep, now how do you feel about that? Me. Within 4 minutes, I'm able to beat your record. Disgusting. However, he does give us a piece of heart. One of the last 2 that we need. So then, let's go ahead and head here in the... oh, well, This is not a gold cartridge, so we are not able to take out the fishing rod. Now then, let's come back here when we're older, shall we? And see if the fish have gotten any bigger. Welcome back to the fishing pond, everybody. Oh, and look! The fish that we caught. In the 7 years, this man has still not managed to catch a larger fish. However, he is wearing a hat. Isn't that hat nice? What have I been doing all this time? Well, actually, I was sleeping in this sacred realm next to an old man with a disconcerting gaze. No matter. Though I do feel... It's nothing, really. No, okay. Well, we've already, blah, blah, blah. Even though we have been here before, he still wants to teach us how to fish. That's sad. Anyways, there is one thing, however, that we can do to perhaps reveal just how pitiful this man is. Now, remember that if we hit the A button after we have cast, it shortens the distance that the lure will go. So, if we do this right... Oh, the ceiling is interfering with our shot. We need to get to a place where the ceiling won't be doing that. And, alright, it still is. Let's fast forward a bit to when we actually do get the object that we need. The lying piece of cloth, which he tries to protect himself. Alright, it should be any attempt now. Okay, I shortened that one a little bit too much. Don't want to get too gung-ho. Oh, look at that. That is sad, though, isn't it? He's lost his hair over the past 7 years. It's probably the stress. Or maybe he started wearing this hat way too much. Wearing a hat too much will make your hair go away, after all. Let's wave it in his face. But we are nice, so let's go ahead and just give him back his hat. Alright, we won't tell anyone. If you want to keep denying the truth to yourself, that's fine. By the way, the best times of day to come to the lake are the beginning of day or just before the beginning of night, so dawn and dusk. During that time, there's a thing called frenzied fish. This only happens in the future, and it's when smaller fish come out, and the larger fish attempt to eat them. This makes them much more likely to grab onto the lure. However, you also need to be careful because if you cast in a smaller fish, they are also very likely to grab onto the lure. So, it's a little bit of a risk, but it pays off if you manage to do it properly. Or just get lucky. Now then, we are hunting after that fish that we saw to the right a little bit over there. However, it is going to be very difficult. In fact, while this video is only 15 minutes, it took me over 3 hours to catch that... I'm sorry. But yes, it took me for 3 hours to catch that fish. In the middle of which I actually had to go to a meeting. And I was quite irate, and I was not very helpful at all. Because this stupid fish is not responding to the lure, and we need to catch it. 3 hours. Oh. What am I doing? Anyways, but yes, there are 2 fish that you can catch here, which will earn you the prize that we're looking for. There is a 15-pounder and a 20-pounder. Now, the 15-pounder is not that difficult to catch. However, the 20-pounder, which I ended up getting, is exceptionally difficult, not only to lure in, as you can see. That's it right there. However, it is also hard to catch. Very hard to catch. Alright, here's another attempt at it. Still resisting us. No matter. No matter. Now, this is actually sped up to 1000%, so one thing that I had to do a few times is go out and go back in, because once you've tried to catch a fish once, it will go to the middle of the lake and become very difficult to catch. And here's the winning attempt. Now, there is one more fish that is a little bit more difficult to catch, but not because it is actually more resistant than the 20-pounder here, but because it is a very rare fish. And it is also kind of tricky to get on your lure, called the Hylian Loach. However, catching it only gets us 50 rupees, and I spent another, well, 2 hours or so trying to get it to appear after catching this fish here. And I did not manage to do it. Now, I was very lucky this time because actually he grabbed onto the lure when he was very close to me, so it was a little bit easier to pull him in. However, as you can see, he's made some headway in heading back into the water. and I'm resisting against him, pulling with him when I think it's opportune. And there we go. Oh my goodness, it is large, isn't it? Yes, you couldn't get away from me. 7 years of growing. You were probably that pitiful 2-pounder, but look at you now. You're mine. I have some pride in you. You made yourself worth something. And yes, I do want to keep it. Oh my goodness, you should have seen me. My hands were off the controller completely at that point, and I just pressed the A button because I was not going back to get it. No, never. So yes, let's see what he thinks of this fish here. By the way, one thing that I've been thinking about lately is what my next Let's Play should be. Now, some people mentioned that it'd be cool if I did Majora's Mask, and I agree. After all, Majora's Mask is my favorite game of all time. I'm going to go ahead and say that. However, there are already 2 threads on Something Awful that have Majora's Mask Let's Plays going on, and I thought that I would be stepping on some toes. But then my friend reminded me, Wesley, there are 2 Let's Plays going on right now. You would not be stepping on any toes, really, if one more done by somebody who really likes the game and who has the support of his viewers were to appear. So if that's what people think would be a good idea, I would love to do that. However, if not, I have other games that I could probably find and play. Anyways, now that we have our golden scale, let's go ahead and go over here to the Seaside Laboratory. I'm sorry, Lakeside. There is something that we can do with it that we couldn't do with the iron boots. As you remember, in here, with the iron boots, we went down to the bottom, and then we rolled against the box, and there was a gold Skulltula. However, there is one other thing that we can do now that we have the gold scale. There we are. And we're back up to the top. The gold scale, as you can see, just lets us dive down further. And you heard the something happened sound there. More old men watching me. This is an odd game. And we have obtained the final piece of heart. Well then, that's nice. Let's head back to the pond though and look at a couple other things that can be done there. The first is this. If you take the fisherman's hat and actually start casting with it, first of all, it does not cast as far. And second of all, eventually it will fall off of your lure. And then you will have to pay him 50 rupees. However, if it gets him to finally admit to himself that he is bald and he shouldn't be hiding it, then maybe 50 rupees is worth it. After all, 50 rupees is kind of worthless to us. However, 50 rupee hat? That's quite a nice hat. Even though we're his only customers, he must have had some kind of savings. After all, how do you maintain this place? Oh, then, here's the next thing. This is a sinking lure. You can usually find it in that little area there. In fact, that's the only place I've ever found it. Although I have seen it caught in other places. Basically, what the sinking lure does is, well, it sinks. However, you have to be careful with it. First of all, you need to be sure of where you're aiming, because any fish will want to get it. Also, there is a 2-second pause or so after a fish hooks on, during which you do not get any warning signs that it is actually there, so it is highly likely that if you're not paying attention, the fish will just kind of get away. Now, this sinking lure is required to obtain the Hylian Loach, and while I would like to do a video on that, obviously, I spent 2 hours going in, coming in, going out, coming in, going out, coming in, going out, because it has about a 1 in 4 chance of appearing, although it seemed like more like a 1 in 100 chance. No, we don't want to keep that. Anyway, that's all there is to do when it comes to fishing. We have obtained everything that there is to obtain at the moment in this game. All we need to do is finish up the last temple, and then go on to the final confrontation with Ganondorf. I hope all of you had enjoyed this video, and I look forward to seeing your ideas for what I should probably do for the next Let's Play. Majora's Mask, or maybe something else. Anyway, I will see you all later, next week, when we head into the Spirit Temple at last, now that we have gotten everything that we can outside of temples. See you then.